7 convicted felons. That's what the nigga said, 7 convicted felons. How you get caught with all these got guns? How?
I don't know.
How?
You tell me.
What deal? You can't even find his records nowhere on this. What deal can you possibly make with the FBI with all these military weapons, silencers, homie? As many as he had with 7 convicted felons.
The tension between 50 Cent and T.I. has always been brewing, but things just got explosive. New footage shows T.I. straight up calling out 50, daring him to a versus battle in front of everyone. 50 wasted no time firing back, posting old Crime Stoppers clips and courtroom footage, accusing T.I. being a snitch. The back and forth instantly reignited a feud that's been simmering for over 2 decades. It all kicked off from February 6, 2026, when T.I. appeared on the Nightcap podcast with Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, and he wasn't holding back. T.I. put 50 on full blast, saying he wanted the versus showdown the culture had been begging for. He wasn't talking in riddles, he made his challenge crystal clear. T.I. reminded everyone he had his eye on battles with Jeezy and Gucci Mane back in the day, but those matchups came and went without him.
Well, T.I. decided to respond and play into it and say, I'm going to use it to promote my music. He said, at 50 Cent, I don't fear my past. I'm too focused on the future. Top 20 in 2 weeks and climbing. Now, hashtag let them know that. King, I'm love, not light. Hashtag my God don't play about me.
This time, he wanted the ultimate New York versus the South collision, 50 Cent versus T.I., the battle to define an era. For T.I., this wasn't just about ego. He'd been pushing this matchup since 2020, seeing it as a tribute to their generation's impact on hip-hop. T.I. reps Southern trap innovation with classics like Trap Music and Paper Trail, while 50 embodied that raw New York street energy with Get Rich or Die Trying. Fans had dreamed of this face-off, but T.I. didn't stop there. He turned up the heat. He accused 50 of dodging the smoke, saying he don't want no smoke, he ducking smoke. That line hit deep because in hip-hop, getting called out for avoiding competition is like getting your crown snatched in public. T.I. doubled down. He reminded everyone he'd asked for the battle before, but 50 kept quiet. Then he brought up 50's 2007 sales battle with Kanye West, hinting that 50 couldn't handle losing. To make it spicier, T.I. even said he'd take on Lil Wayne if needed, but everyone knew who his real target was, 50 Cent.
Who I wanted.
You want Weezy?
Nah, I said I wanted 50. That's what I said. He don't want no smoke, though.
Oh, no.
I called my man out. He don't want no smoke. He ducking smoke.
His move wasn't random either. The man's strategic. He went on a massive platform, one that racks up millions of views, just as he was promoting his final album, Kill the King, and his lead single, Let 'Em Know. What better way to grab the spotlight than calling out one of hip-hop's most fearless figures? T.I. knew exactly what he was doing, and that 50's reaction would light up the internet like wildfire. Sure enough, fans split into camps overnight. Social media exploded, timelines filled with heated takes, playlists, and polls. Some fans hyped up T.I.'s confidence and longevity, while others swore that 50's hits would wipe the floor clean in any battle. It wasn't just a music clash, it was regional pride versus street legacy, Atlanta versus New York, and 2 different blueprints for greatness. T.I.'s play was pure chess.
Good day, everyone. How are you doing? I am just bringing it to your attention that it is now July the 6th. And I gave you 2 days for a grace period just because I had to get my shit together. I was having a good time, but 5 mics. There's an app check for you or a paycheck for me.
He wasn't just talking tough, he was shaping the narrative. In the rap game, perception can make or break you. By challenging 50 so publicly, T.I. flipped the power dynamic, making any silence from 50 look like fear. He crowned himself the aggressor, the bold king ready to defend his throne against anyone who dares step up. He framed 50 as hesitant, maybe even scared, hinting that the man who once thrived on confrontation was now dodging it. Both rappers share a wild timeline. They came from the streets to superstardom, faced legal drama, and carved their lanes in completely different ways. But now, with one bold challenge, T.I. had the world watching, waiting to see if 50 Cent would step into the arena or stay silent under the spotlight. Behind all the hype, this feud wasn't just about ego. It was tangled in industry politics and years of people questioning who was really authentic. T.I. even said if it couldn't be 50, he might take on Lil Wayne. But let's be real, Wayne wasn't who he wanted. That comment exposed T.I.'s real motivation. He wanted 50 Cent, and only 50 Cent. This was about unfinished business, the old shots, the slick talk.
Anonymously.
Some people call me Tip, but this is about another kind of tip that can help our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, and our fathers help get the perpetrators who commit crimes against them off the streets. All you got to do is call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. Tips can be anonymous, and there's even a reward. The number to Crime Stoppers Atlanta is 404-577-8477. That's 404-577-TIP.
The quiet tension that had never been settled. Once the call-out dropped, the media went crazy. Outlets painted it as the versus battle the world deserved. Every article compared legendary tracks, In the Club versus What You Know, Many Men up against Rubber Band Man, and 21 Questions clashing with Whatever You Like. Fans were already choosing sides before 50 even said a word. But there was something genius about T.I.'s timing. He knew exactly what he was doing. By tying the Versus challenge to the rollout of his final album, Kill the King, and his lead single, Let Him Know, every headline, every tweet, every blog post about the beef was also promoting his music. The controversy turned into marketing gold. Streams shot up, social media engagement spiked, and anticipation for his project exploded overnight. Still, beneath the business moves, there was real tension. T.I. and 50 had a history that went all the way back to 2007, filled with snitching rumors, subliminal disses, and social media shade. This wasn't fake internet drama. It was real energy between two icons who had never truly faced each other. T.I.'s appearance on Nightcap was the setup for something major. He didn't just call him out, he called him scared. He flipped the whole story on his head and made 50 look like the one dodging competition. Now, the pressure was on 50, the self-proclaimed king of trolling, to answer back. And just like everyone expected, he didn't waste a second. Within hours, 50 Cent came swinging with that same ruthless trolling energy he's famous for. The battle lines were drawn, and hip-hop was ready to watch the next round unfold.
Fallon's family find out about his death?
I told him. I called his mom first, then I told his cousin. I told his little girl.
How old was his little girl?
His daughter was 4 years old at the time. Five years old at the time.
And how did you tell his daughter that her father was dead?
He's in a better place and he won't be coming back. And I told him how much he loved her.
And how did you tell his mom that her son was gone?
Well, first I apologized. I apologized because, I felt that, all of those rounds were fired for me, in my opinion.
On February 6th and 7th, 2026, 50 Cent did what he does best. He launched his signature trolling campaign with precision and zero hesitation. He dropped a string of Instagram clips designed to drag T.I.'s name through the mud, labeling him a snitch and completely sidestepping the whole Versus challenge. Within hours, the posts went viral. Millions of views, endless debates, and the internet buzzing nonstop. The first video 50 posted was a throwback to T.I.'s 2010 Atlanta Crime Stoppers commercial. In the clip, T.I. urged citizens to report crimes anonymously, something meant to help the community, but in the world of hip-hop, that kind of message comes with controversy. 50 couldn't resist throwing gasoline on the fire. He captioned the post, "I know Atlanta pick and choose who they support, but y'all gotta do better, LOL. Keep my name out your mouth." Then, just to twist the knife, he added the hashtag Branson Cognac, promoting his liquor brand while taking shots at T.I. It was a classic 50 Cent move, flipping a public challenge into a trolling opportunity and a promo stunt all in one. The Crime Stoppers clip wasn't new ammo. 50 had pulled it out in past feuds too. But this time, he brought it back because he knew exactly how it looked in the culture. In hip-hop, anything that even appears tied to law enforcement can damage someone's street credibility, and 50 used that perception like a weapon. By resurfacing that commercial, he painted a picture of T.I. that made fans question his authenticity. But he didn't stop there. 50 went even deeper. His next post was courtroom footage from 2008 showing T.I. testifying during the murder trial of Hosea Thomas, the man convicted of killing his best friend Phil Johnson in 2006. The context? T.I. had been subpoenaed to testify about what he saw that night.
Or something, man, because I seen the post today
where they were saying that you were supposed to be in, I guess one of the power, what's the name? I guess two of the actors on the show said that you were actually supposed to be on the show, and then they replaced you with Method Man, and they weren't expecting it or something.
No, that's not true. 50 and I, we were executive producers on a different show outside of the Power universe. But nah, man, me and 50 cool. I'm the only one who's not offended by his brass approach, and he's not offended by mine. So, you know, we play rough, but ain't no issue. It's a mutual respect.
Not as an informant, but as a witness seeking justice for his fallen friend. Still, 50 took that footage and twisted the narrative. He captioned it, "No, I don't like it. No verses. Let's do the stay away challenge and stay away from me, LOL." The message hit hard. 50 wanted no part of T.I., at least not on friendly terms. He spun the testimony into something darker, framing it as cooperation, even though the situation was about loyalty and loss. It was both brilliant and brutal. 50 didn't directly accept or reject the versus challenge. He shifted the whole conversation. Instead of talking about music catalogs, he made everyone focus on T.I.'s past and his reputation. By pulling those old clips, 50 changed the entire tone of the feud, suggesting this wasn't about hits anymore. This was personal. 50 Cent made his point loud and clear. He framed T.I. as someone beneath him, not even worthy of sharing the same stage. And just like he planned, the post blew up instantly. His followers flooded the comment section. Some hyped him up, calling him the undisputed troll king, while others slammed him for bringing up something as painful as Phil's death. But it didn't matter which side they were on. The engagement was massive, and that's exactly what 50 wanted. Every comment, every repost, every meme meant visibility and control over the narrative.
Ladies and gentlemen, you see him, the gentleman, an ambassador of the South, has, now I'm trying to get an update, Tip. You called out 50 Cent and said you want to do the versus
let me tell
battle.
you something, guys. Hey, listen.
Here we go.
Hey, look, let me tell you something, guys. I know what the most entertaining and probably the most relevant humorous thing for us to talk about. And I guess we can talk about it.
This wasn't new for 50. This was his playbook. He'd done the same thing to Ja Rule, Rick Ross, and The Game before. It's his signature move. Find the most embarrassing, emotional, or vulnerable moments from an opponent's life and flip them into viral entertainment. What looks like trolling is actually psychological warfare, turning pain into promotion and humiliation into headlines. 50 doesn't just beef, he monetizes it. From his point of view, refusing to join a versus battle was a power move. To him, that platform wasn't on his level. Why step into a hits competition when he could dominate the conversation without even touching a mic? Why risk losing to T.I. in public when he could clown him online and still win the attention game? Why validate T.I.'s challenge when ignoring it kept him looking untouchable? That's when the stay away challenge meme took off. Fans ran wild with it. Some joked that 50 was scared, that maybe he didn't want the smoke because T.I.'s catalog was deeper. Others defended 50, saying he was too smart to give T.I. free publicity. Either way, the confusion worked perfectly in 50's favor. He kept the spotlight, controlled the energy, and never had to officially agree to anything. Meanwhile, fans who actually wanted to see the battle felt let down. They saw what could have been an iconic face-off. Two legends from different coasts, same era, both with timeless records. It could have been monumental, but 50's slick response made it clear he had no plans to play by T.I.'s rules. He was playing his own game, on his own platform, with his own power. But T.I. wasn't backing off, not even close. The Atlanta rapper came back swinging, ready to prove that no amount of trolling could shake his confidence or silence his name.
50 Cent decide to wake up this Saturday, February 7th, on the dark side of the bed once again. And if you follow, you know I done spoke on that before, how I feel. 50 Cent does not wake up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning. He wakes up on the dark side. And I say at least about half the month, maybe about 15 days, he gonna get it to the capital C's and go at somebody.
After 50 Cent's trolling blitz on February 7th, 2026, T.I. finally stepped up with measured defiance. He didn't lose his cool. Instead, he played it smart. Through Instagram stories and a public statement, he defended his past while cleverly pushing his new music at the same time. The move showed how much he's grown, no longer reacting with anger, but flipping controversy into momentum and strategy. T.I.'s message was sharp and powerful. I don't fear my past. That became his rallying cry. He didn't dodge 50's posts or pretend they didn't exist. He just refused to be defined by them. Instead of feeding into the trolling, he redirected the spotlight to what mattered most, his upcoming final album, Kill the King, and his lead single, Let 'Em Know. He turned what was meant to humiliate him into free promotion, a textbook power move. Addressing the Crime Stoppers commercial, T.I. broke it all down, clearly. He explained that it wasn't some voluntary snitch act. It was court-ordered community service tied to his 2007 weapons plea deal.
It came from, if we in a case together and I die, put it on me.
God bless.
Put it on me, bro. If I'm dead and you can go home, man, put the case on me. You hear me?
Yeah.
And unless it was some shit I wouldn't be a part of if I was alive, you know what I'm saying? If you got some dope and I'm gone and you're like, man, shit, it wasn't mine, so, man, why not, bro? You still have a life to live after I'm gone. Why would I expect you to, where is the logic in that?
Right.
Where's the logic in that?
He revealed that the PSA was a mandatory condition of his sentence, part of 2,500 hours of community service that helped him reduce what could have been decades in prison down to just 1 year and 1 day. As part of that deal, he also had to speak to youth about gun violence, anti-gang choices, and turning life around after mistakes. So that commercial wasn't betrayal, it was responsibility. He flipped the narrative, showing that doing positive outreach didn't make him weak, it made him a survivor who owned his past. Then came the heavy part, the courtroom testimony. T.I. addressed it head-on with emotion and clarity. He said testifying in the 2008 murder trial of Hosea Thomas, the man convicted of killing his best friend Phil Johnson, was about honor, not snitching. He reminded everyone that Phil wasn't just a friend, he was family. They'd known each other since age 2, grew up together, and Phil had literally taken a bullet meant for T.I. after a Cincinnati nightclub shooting in 2006. When the law subpoenaed him to testify, T.I. didn't do it out of cooperation. He did it because it was the only way to stand up for his fallen brother.
I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna tell law-abiding citizens not to call the police so I can, not be of benefit to a downward departure. Not gonna do that. Because you know why? Law-abiding citizens are gonna call the police anyway. That's their right.
They're right.
And guess what? Street were never gonna not snitch. Or excuse me, they were never gonna not keep it silent because they seen me on a...
He made it crystal clear. When you testify in your best friend's murder case, that's loyalty. That's justice. He stressed that the law required his testimony, and even if it hadn't, what kind of man wouldn't speak up for someone who died protecting him? He reframed the entire story as one of honor, courage, and love, not betrayal. But T.I. didn't stop there. He took a jab back at 50's hypocrisy. He pointed out how 50 was accusing him of snitching while at the same time producing documentaries exposing other black men like Diddy and Jay-Z. It was a sharp reminder that 50's brand of exposure wasn't all that different from what he was mocking. T.I.'s comeback wasn't loud, it was calculated, mature, and powerful. He didn't match 50's trolling energy, he outclassed it, showing that his story couldn't be twisted when he was the one telling it. T.I.'s supporters were quick to call out the double standard. If his Crime Stoppers commercial made him a snitch, then what did 50's documentaries make him? Both, after all, were meant to get dangerous people off the streets. One fan summed it up perfectly, saying, Tip has never gave any information to any law enforcement to get any man any amount of time, period. T.I. didn't just sit back. He challenged anyone to bring real proof. He said if there's any paperwork showing he ever cooperated with law enforcement, bring it forward. He reminded everyone that if he truly had snitched, it would have come out in prison, because behind bars, inmates don't tolerate informants. Yet, he served his sentences clean, no issues, no drama. That alone spoke volumes. In the interviews that followed, T.I. tried to keep things cool, saying it wasn't real beef, just hip-hop entertainment. But fans weren't fully convinced. They noticed a certain edge in his voice, a hint of irritation when he spoke about it. Because deep down, it clearly stung that 50 was dragging up decade-old moments from 2008 and 2010, moments long past that he'd already explained and lived through. Why bring them up again in 2026? Still, T.I.'s reaction showed how much he's evolved. Back in the day, he probably would have hit the studio and dropped a diss track within 24 hours, maybe even gone at 50 directly on social media. But this time, he played it cool. He stood tall, defended his legacy, and refused to drop down to 50's trolling level. Instead of turning it into chaos, he turned it into conversation. The contrast between them was striking. 50 weaponized everything, old clips, trauma, court footage, turning pain into content. Meanwhile, T.I. tried to rise above, defending himself without letting the situation strip him of his composure. 50 lived in the past, T.I. looked towards the future. 50 trolled, T.I. promoted. Both men refused to give either one exactly what they wanted, and that's what kept the feud simmering. Neither one would bow down, and neither would let go. It was pride, legacy, and control, a clash that was less about music now, more about reputation. And to truly understand this rivalry, you've got to look back, because this tension didn't appear overnight. Their February 2026 clash was just another chapter in a 20-year rivalry fueled by regional pride, legal pressure, and constant battles for authenticity. Their feud had roots going way back to the early 2000s, when both men were climbing to the top of the rap game, one representing New York's gritty hustle, the other waving the flag for Atlanta's trap empire. It started subtle, a few jabs here and there, but over the years, those sparks turned into full-blown fire.
As far in the universe of hip hop, New Yorkers have the same thing that white people with white privilege have.
Oh, now you
You know what I'm
tripping.
saying?
No, I like this. I like this stuff.
Of course you do. You white.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
No, I'm not from New York, and I've experienced it my whole time here, so I know where Tim's going.
Hey, now, wait a minute. Let me tell you something. New York, the origin, the mecca of hip hop.
Birthplace.
The origin, the place, the birthplace. Can't never deny that. Can't never take it away. The capital of the financial commerce. You know, y'all got all the money.
Back in 2003, 50 Cent took over the rap world with Get Rich or Die Trying. That album didn't just blow up, it defined New York street rap for an entire generation. Around that same time, down south, T.I. was changing the game too, with trap music, laying the foundation for the southern trap sound that would soon reshape all of hip-hop. Back then, regional rivalries were everywhere. Many New York artists looked down on the South, calling Southern rap simpler or less lyrical. But Atlanta was rising fast, and T.I. was at the center of that revolution. Still, the real spark between 50 and T.I. came a few years later, in 2007, when T.I. found himself at the heart of a federal weapons case that would send shockwaves through the industry. In October 2007, T.I. was arrested by ATF agents after allegedly trying to buy unregistered machine guns and silencers, despite already being a convicted felon from a 1998 drug case. The situation looked bad. He was facing up to 30 years in prison, and the evidence against him was heavy. But by March 2008, things took a wild turn. T.I. struck a plea deal that stunned the entire hip-hop world. He ended up with just 1 year and 1 day behind bars, plus 3 years of probation, 1,500 hours of community service, and a fine. For charges that serious, the sentence seemed shockingly light, and people immediately started whispering. In a culture where long sentences were the norm for gun charges, T.I.'s deal looked almost too good to be true. That's when 50 Cent jumped in. In a 2009 interview, he threw shade, saying, "If I was caught with that many guns, I'd be going away for a long time." The implication was loud and clear. 50 was hinting that T.I. might have cooperated with authorities to get a lighter sentence. It was never said outright, but the message hit hard. Then in July 2008, 50 took the subliminal straight into his music. On G-Unit's track You So Tough from the album TOS, Terminate on Sight, he dropped bars that clearly referenced T.I.'s case, the 12-month sentence, the strange leniency, the sense that something ain't adding up. Fans and blogs instantly connected the dots. This was 50's way of calling T.I. a snitch without ever using the word. T.I. didn't clap back on wax, not this time. Instead, he handled it calmly in interviews, calling the claims baseless and misinformed. He broke down the truth. His plea deal had no cooperation clause whatsoever. The reduced sentence came from his pre-sentencing community service, his work with youth advocacy, and the fact that he didn't have a violent criminal record. Court documents later backed him up, showing zero evidence of any cooperation with law enforcement. The tension cooled off for a bit, but never really disappeared. Through the 2010s, there were still sparks. In 2010, after T.I. and his wife Tiny were arrested on drug charges, 50 hopped on Twitter and made another slick remark, suggesting that Tiny should take the fall. T.I. wasn't having it, calling the comment disrespectful and out of line. Reports say the two eventually spoke on the phone and squashed it, but anyone paying attention could tell the tension was still alive. Every few years, 50 would pop back up, reposting that same Crime Stoppers clip, using it to question T.I.'s street credibility all over again. Their feud wasn't just about words, it was about pride, authenticity, and dominance. Both men came from the streets, both climbed to the top, and neither one was willing to let the other rewrite their legacy. The feud flared up again in 2020, right in the middle of the Versus era. On July 6, 2020, 50 Cent's birthday of all days, T.I. hopped on Instagram with a bold challenge. In a fiery video, he called 50 out for a Versus battle and even threw in a jab about the money he claimed 50 still owed him. 50 wasted no time firing back in classic troll fashion. He laughed it off and wrote, "Yo, somebody passed T.I. the weed they gave Smokey and Friday, LOL." It was vintage 50, dismissive, funny, and cutting all at once. Then, just to twist the knife, he hinted that if the battle ever happened, he'd start by playing You So Tough, the same song that once threw shade at T.I. back in 2008. By September 2020, when T.I. doubled down and repeated his challenge, 50 got even pettier. This time, he started clowning T.I.'s beard in interviews and music, calling himself a better specimen of a man. The internet went wild, eating up every insult and meme, as both rappers traded barbs with slick confidence and zero mercy. But beneath all the jokes and trolling, the rivalry represented something deeper, a cultural divide that's existed in hip-hop for decades. 50 stood for New York's dominance, representing the gritty, hardcore image that defined the East Coast for years. He often positioned himself as a gatekeeper of authenticity, deciding who was real enough to be respected in the game. On the other hand, T.I. embodied the South's rise to power. He carried the flag for Atlanta, a region that had been underestimated for years, but had completely taken over the charts by the 2010s. T.I. wasn't just challenging 50, he was challenging the idea that only East Coast artists could define what real hip-hop meant. In a 2020 interview, T.I. made a bold statement that set off a firestorm. He said, "If 50 Cent were from the Midwest, he'd be Nelly." That line hit like a grenade. It implied that 50's legacy came less from pure skill and more from his New York roots, that his reputation was inflated by geography. The statement cut deep, questioning whether 50's legacy was built on talent or the privilege of being from hip-hop's birthplace. And just like that, the feud turned from playful competition to a clash of pride, power, and perception. East Coast versus South, old guard versus new era. Both sides had something to prove, and neither was backing down.
Okay.
If 50 Cent were from the Midwest, he'd be Nelly.
If 50 Cent was from the Midwest, absolutely not. You wildin'.
Nelly got 2 diamond albums.
You just talking about, I'm not even talking about sales. I'm not talking about sales. I'm talking about sound.
All I'm saying is they are pretty much, but shit, the thing is, because y'all got more numbers, the thing.
I'm not even talking about numbers. I'm talking about slaps. I'm talking about songs that bang.
50 Cent has always argued that T.I.'s legal history taints his credibility. In 50's world, real street figures don't record PSAs for Crime Stoppers, don't testify in court, and definitely don't involve the authorities in their business. To him, those choices disqualified T.I. from claiming the same kind of street authenticity 50 prides himself on. But T.I. fires back hard, calling out the hypocrisy. He points out that while 50 calls him a snitch, he's out here making documentaries on other black men like Diddy and Jay-Z, digging into their alleged wrongdoings for the world to see. T.I.'s message was sharp. If my PSA counts as snitching, then what do your expose documentaries count as? Both, he argued, are about exposing problems, just done in different ways. Their feud, though, can't be understood without looking at their battle-scarred past. Neither of these two came to 2026 clean or controversy-free. Both carry decades of drama, scandals, and grudges, and that baggage shaped the way they fight today. For 50 Cent especially, conflict is part of his brand. He's turned beef into a career strategy. Every feud fuels his visibility. His most infamous war will always be with Ja Rule and Murder Inc., one of the nastiest rivalries in hip-hop history. It all started back in 1999 when one of 50's associates allegedly robbed Ja Rule. Things escalated fast. By 2000, there was a brawl in an Atlanta nightclub that ended with 50 getting stabbed. From there, the music turned into open warfare. Diss tracks like Wankster and Down blasted through the culture, and 50's relentless attacks helped cripple Murder Inc.'s empire. Even after 25 years, that beef is still considered unresolved. Then came The Game, another explosive chapter. At first, The Game was part of G-Unit, but in 2005, everything fell apart when Game refused to back 50 in his other feuds. Live on Hot 97, 50 kicked him out of the group during an interview, and within hours, shots were fired outside the station. Diss tracks followed on both sides, their tension spilling across the internet and into the streets. They patched things up briefly, but by 2016, the cycle repeated. Peace, then chaos, then more beef. Next in 50's hit list, Rick Ross. That feud kicked off in 2008, and 50 took it to another level of petty. He leaked a private tape involving Ross's ex, a move that later cost him $7 million in a lawsuit. Then, he mocked Ross's background, calling him Officer Ricky after exposing his past job as a correctional officer. He even went so far as to taunt Ross about his health, making jokes after the rapper's April 2018 hospitalization for a stroke. The trolling was non-stop, heartless, calculated, and always designed to dominate headlines. Every time, 50 used the same formula: find a weakness, expose it, and make the world watch. Whether it's Ja Rule, Game, or Ross, he turns every feud into a public spectacle that boosts his fame and crushes his rivals. And now with T.I., he's just following the same pattern, flipping controversy into currency while reminding everyone that in his world, beef isn't just personal, it's business. 50 Cent's list of enemies could fill a stadium. He's gone after Fat Joe, Jadakiss, Nas, Cameron, Young Buck, Lloyd Banks, and practically half the rap industry. On tracks like Piggy Bank, he dissed several rappers at once, swinging at everyone in sight while keeping his crown as the hip-hop ultimate instigator. But 50's fire hasn't only been aimed at his rivals, he's even turned on his own circle. In his 2020 book, he blasted former G-Unit partner Lloyd Banks, calling him lazy and unmotivated, a move that officially strained their brotherhood. Then came one of his most heartbreaking feuds, the one with his own son, Marquise. 50 went so far as to say he'd rather have 6ix9ine as a son, a statement that shocked fans and showed just how deep his grudges could go. Outside of rap, 50's controversies stretch across decades, and no topic has been off limits. In 2010, he caused outrage after tweeting a homophobic comment saying men who didn't perform certain acts should kill themselves. The backlash was immediate and massive. Under pressure from GLAD, he later apologized, but the damage was already done. Then, in 2016, he sparked fury again after mocking an autistic airport employee, posting a video accusing the teen of being high on drugs. Once the truth came out, the internet turned on him fast. 50 eventually apologized and donated $100,000 to autism charities, but the damage was already done. His money moves have caused scandals too. When 50 filed for bankruptcy in 2015, people were stunned. He owed about $36 million, including the massive $7 million judgment from the Rick Ross sex tape lawsuit. But even while claiming financial trouble, he kept flaunting stacks of cash on Instagram, posing with it like props. Critics accused him of manipulating the system, using bankruptcy as a legal tactic instead of a cry for help. By 2017, he walked away with a $23 million settlement, proving again that 50 always lands on his feet. In recent years, 50's found new targets, and he hasn't slowed down one bit. He's relentlessly trolled Diddy, especially after serious allegations surfaced, even producing a Netflix documentary to dig deeper into the scandal. He's mocked Terry Crews for opening up about sexual assault, and in 2023, he made headlines again after throwing a microphone into the crowd during a concert, injuring a fan. Not even tragedy is off limits to 50. When the world mourned George Floyd, he used the moment to taunt Floyd Mayweather, twisting the moment into more trolling content. Every time people think he's gone too far, the headlines pile up and the engagement skyrockets, exactly how 50 likes it. But T.I. isn't spotless either. He's carried his own share of baggage, with a past full of legal troubles and arrests that have followed him since his earliest days in the game. Both rappers have walked through controversy and chaos, and somehow, both keep turning it into fuel for their careers.
T.I.'s history hasn't been spotless either. His journey through fame has been shadowed by drug charges, arrests, and public scandals. His legal troubles stretch back to 1997 when he was first hit with drug possession and distribution charges. These early run-ins with the law shaped his path and his image long before the spotlight found him. Then came the infamous 2007 weapons case that nearly ended his career, followed by a 2010 drug possession arrest that violated his probation and sent him right back to prison. Every headline, every mugshot became ammunition for critics questioning his authenticity and judgment. Feuds also marked T.I.'s rise. His beef with Lil Flip in 2004-2005 became one of Southern rap's biggest clashes. The drama centered around the title King of the South, with both rappers claiming the crown. The rivalry got so heated it turned violent, leading to a shootout in Houston between their crews in March 2005. It finally ended only after Jay Prince stepped in to broker peace. Then came his clash with Ludacris as the two battled for Atlanta supremacy. They went bar for bar in diss tracks until finally making peace in 2007. Not long after, Shawty Lo stepped into the picture, questioning T.I.'s Bankhead roots in 2008, sparking another feud that led to T.I.'s response track, What Up, What's Happening. Their rivalry cooled off after Shawty Lo's tragic death in 2016. In 2009, T.I. cut ties with one of his own artists, Grand Hustle signee Alpha Omega, after court documents revealed him as a DEA informant. The irony was impossible to ignore. T.I., who'd been dogged by snitching rumors himself, now had to publicly distance himself from someone who actually cooperated with the feds. He released diss tracks aimed at Alpha Omega before the rapper faded out of relevance completely. But while his career was thriving, his personal life was under fire. His marriage to Tiny Harris was filled with public ups and downs, cheating rumors, heated arguments, and even a divorce filing in 2016 before the couple reconciled later. Then, in 2023, their son King Harris shocked fans when he accused T.I. of having a long-term affair with Tiny's friend Shayna Joe. The family drama spilled onto social media, hurting T.I.'s public image just as he was rebuilding his career. The most serious blows came from sexual assault allegations that surfaced in 2021. Activist Sabrina Peterson accused T.I. of holding her at gunpoint and shared messages from over 30 women who claimed that T.I. and Tiny had drugged and assaulted them between 2005 and 2018. The accusations included forced drug use, coercion, and sexual abuse. Attorney Tyrone Blackburn represented 11 of the alleged victims, and the LAPD launched multiple investigations. In September 2021, prosecutors in Los Angeles declined to file charges due to the statute of limitations, but the story didn't end there. In January 2024, a Jane Doe filed a civil lawsuit under California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act, accusing T.I. of a 2005 assault where she claims she was drugged in a club and forced into sex acts. T.I. and Tiny denied everything, calling the allegations bogus and an extortion attempt. The case remains ongoing, and though the legal process continues, the controversy has already left a mark on their reputations. When you look at both artists, 50 Cent and T.I., it's clear they share a pattern of controversy. Whether it's feuds, legal battles, or public scandals, they both know how to weaponize chaos. They take the darkest parts of their stories and twist them into power, using narrative control, fan loyalty, and regional pride to survive every cancellation attempt that comes their way. In a world where reputation is everything, both men prove that controversy can be currency, as long as you know how to flip it. Over the years, 50 Cent turned trolling into a full-blown business model. Every feud, every viral jab, every clapback, it all drives engagement and keeps his name buzzing. What started as petty beefs evolved into a money-making machine. Every time 50 starts a controversy, his TV shows, liquor brands, and social media following skyrocketed. He's mastered the art of turning chaos into marketing gold, making enemies part of his brand strategy, and transforming beef into business. Meanwhile, T.I. tried to take a different route. He spent years trying to reshape his image, going from a street legend to a community leader. He's done public service, spoken to students about growth and responsibility, and even built the Trap Music Museum, a landmark celebrating Southern hip-hop culture. For a while, it seemed like he had successfully evolved into a reformed, respected figure. But scandals have a way of shadowing progress. The sexual assault allegations, the backlash from the Hyman check controversy, and his ongoing legal issues chipped away at that reformed image. To many, it seemed like the street persona never fully disappeared, just rebranded under a polished exterior. Their current feud feels like a continuation of an old pattern. Two veterans locked in a familiar dance. 50 digs up old footage and snitching accusations, weaponizing the past for attention, while T.I. responds by defending his history and promoting new music in the process. Neither of them lands a career-ending blow, but that's not the point. Every exchange boosts their relevance, fuels their fan bases, and keeps them trending. In their world, controversy isn't destruction, it's strategy.
And so the cycle keeps spinning, because it works for both of them. T.I. announced that Kill the King would be his final album, marking the end of his rap career. He told fans he was ready to step back from music and focus on comedy, acting, business, and family life. During the Grammys on February 1st, 2026, he confirmed the decision, saying he wanted to explore the untapped sides of his creativity. His single, Let 'Em Know, produced by Pharrell, serves as a heartfelt farewell to the culture he helped shape. But longtime fans took the announcement with a grain of salt. After all, T.I. has threatened retirement before, only to come right back when the streets called his name. With the constant tension between him and 50 Cent, many believe it's only a matter of time before another diss, another clip, or another challenge pulls him right back into the spotlight. Outside of rap, T.I.'s been building a new lane. His comedy career is growing fast, with regular performances in Atlanta clubs and rising buzz around his stand-up specials. His acting gigs keep rolling in, and his Trap Music Museum continues to thrive as one of Atlanta's proudest cultural landmarks. Bit by bit, he's carving out a new identity, even though hip-hop still refuses to let him go. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continues to dominate his post-rap empire. His Power franchise exploded into a full TV universe, raking in hundreds of millions in revenue. He's an executive producer on multiple shows and constantly developing new series that keep him at the top of both pop culture and business. His liquor brands compete at premium levels, and with over 30 million social media followers, 50 stays one of the most powerful voices online. Music? That's secondary now.
He drops occasional features, but no full albums. Instead, he's chasing bigger plays, like the Netflix documentary Still Warming Up, announced in February 2026, exploring the struggles of New York City rappers. And he's already teasing new documentaries centered around Jay-Z and other controversial figures. Every project ties back to his image, the unfiltered truth teller, the troll king, the man who turns beef into business. He's perfected the formula. Controversy equals attention, and attention equals profit. Even his refusal to do a versus battle with T.I is part of the act, because by not participating, he still wins. Why risk losing when staying on the sidelines keeps him trending? Why validate T.I.'s challenge when deflecting keeps him in control? His silence itself becomes content, sparking endless debates and headlines. At this point, the feud isn't just rivalry, it's strategy. Every time 50 throws shade, T.I.'s projects get new clicks and views. Every time T.I. responds, 50 gets fresh fuel for his followers. It's a loop of attention that keeps both men relevant, both brands alive, and both fan bases entertained. And that's why the fire will never truly die, because the unresolved tension between two legends is far too profitable to end.